Florida lawmakers end a bleak special session with massive cuts to spackle the latest budget hole, and more pain is coming. And CFO Alex Sink will forego a U.S. Senate race to seek a second term. That's Power Play today, with our guests, Mary Ellen Klas, Bureau Chief of the Miami Herald, and Joe Follick of the New York Times, Florida newspapers. More than $2 billion in cuts from education, social services, elder services. How bad's the pain going to be? This is really a horrible situation. I mean, everything's going to be hit. People are going to be, hurting. We had some stories of, parents who are so upset with the cuts at their schools that they're conducting a hunger strike in Broward County. Teachers, fighting budget cuts so that they're not getting the pay they were expected. It's going to hit everybody. But are you getting the sense that this dissent among the people is large enough that it's making any impact at all up here, Joe? Not yet. I don't. I think that they have managed to paper this over pretty well for the first year and a half. But this is it. The trust funds are gone. There is no other way to go other than tax increases or revenue increases right now if they're going to sustain anything. And I think the real pain and the real hostility is going to come later this year and early next year. Well, the lawmakers saying they're being responsible, living within our means. We have to have a balanced budget constitutionally. Are we seeing real leadership emerge in this crisis? I think so. I mean, the one person who has just been a standout in my mind has been Jeff Atwater, the Senate president. He started the session with a speech that basically said, this is the hardest situation we've been in Florida's early history. I mean, recently. And he ended the session with a speech saying, this is not the worst of it. There is more bad stuff to come. And he's set up an expectation for people that they're going to have to make some tough decisions. Well, we have even a lobbyist like Ronnie Book and others saying it's time to talk about taxes. Are we going to be talking about taxes in the regular session beginning in March? I think we are, but I think there's a lot of whatever. I was in the House most of last week. I didn't really get to see the Senate too much. And the House was in a sense of panic. Nobody had a good message. Nobody had a clue about what they were going to do. Everybody's tiptoeing around the T word and the casinos. I think it's really going to be an interesting age-old dynamic coming up here in the regular session where you have kind of the sober Senate saying this is what we need to do, and the House is going to be kind of scatterbrained. We'll see what happens. Is it a real solution for the state to count on this federal stimulus money to bail us out? I think it is going to be a significant piece of the equation. I think I talked to George Sheldon, the Secretary of Children and Families this week, and he's expecting that we may get as much as $1 billion to help with our Medicaid costs. I mean, that's going to be a huge help. But nobody knows what kind of strings will be attached, and they can't start betting on that or counting on that yet. Well, from the budget to the more political, with CFO Alex Sink announcing she will not seek the U.S. Senate seat of Mel Martinez. How big a story is that? Well, I think it was expected to a certain degree because she's only been in Tallahassee for 2 years. She's still building her ID. I think this is really the de facto announcement that she'll be running for governor in 2014. When Charlie will be gone, his money machine will be gone, his bewildering poll numbers will be gone, and I think she'll be ready to go then. But she gets high marks from Republicans as well as Democrats for the job she's doing as CFO. Yeah, and I think she really likes the job that she's doing. She's doing it well, and she's listening to everyone. She's being attentive to where can we find more ways to save money. She's just, and she's good at it. So it's not fair, but real quick, who's the front runner on the Republican-Democrat side for the U.S. Senate seat right now? Well, I think it's going to be a battle between Marco Rubio and Dan Gelber, and I think Kendrick Meek and Dan Gelber will be a real good fight. The winner in all this is Miami, because we're going to have this fight down there. Any difference of opinion on the Senate race? Well, I think, Bill McCollum is going to be a factor in there, and I think it'll be an interesting battle between old school Bill McCollum and Marco Rubio and his own brand. And he does have the statewide name recognition. All right, we're going to go to your respective power plays of the week. Mary Ellen. Jeff Atwater. I think, as I mentioned, I think he's shown leadership. He's telling Republicans it's time to bite the bullet and think about eliminating tax exemptions and raising taxes. Joe? I want to go with Miami-Dade County. They managed to make a special session about a statewide emergency about a tunnel project in Miami. They managed to make it about a software purchase from Miami-Dade School District and drug these conference committees out over the weekend. Even when the state's in a crisis, we still managed to make Miami-Dade front and center. Okay, thank you both very much. For the latest political news, go to the Safety Review, and we'll see you next time on Power Play.